Everyone's got a drink. We're in fine spirits. We're having a good laugh just before the show came on, as you can probably tell. Let's do the housekeeping. It's got to be done. Where is it? There it is.
Please
like and subscribe in cursive, which is the best way to subscribe is always in cursive.
Set the notifications.
There you go. Let's go to the chat. If you're in the chat, give us a shout out. Say good evening. Tell us where we're going wrong. Give us some advice. Don't be shy. The comments is important.
So. Hopefully Ryan Leary's back this week.
Ryan. The one-man show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was commenting like a wild man like last week, right?
I love Ryan. Ryan, I miss you. You should. I'm happy you're happy, but you should move back.
There we go. Jeff's here. You know, like everyone has like their real name, and then they have like their Facebook name, their Instagram name, their YouTube name. Sorry, man, I get people mixed up, but I know that that's Jeff. That's definitely Jeff Young.
Cool.
All right. Let me introduce the guests this week. Will's here, up in New York, or down in New York, over in New York. And then Bill's here, second time around. Kevin's here, also in Chicago, right?
Yep.
Man, a lot of people from Chicago come on this show. It's always a good time when Chicago's around. There you go. Shall we get going? As usual, we've got
let's kick it off.
5 or more records each. We're going to have a good time talking about. I've got a brand new one, actually. We'll get to that.
Nice.
As we go through the show. But as I'm going to be doing, I did last week, and I'm going to do it this week too, and maybe the next few weeks. I got my 501 series. If anyone's not familiar with the 501 series, it's a stack of records that I bought for 501 yen, which is like $3.41 from Disc Union online. They suddenly like had all these records at this like weird price, and I got some good ones. This is the second one that I'm going to show in the 501 series. Austin, Texas, Denton, Texas, garage punk, great band. This is the first time I've ever really listened to this band or bought a record by this band, but it's a great record. Any guesses?
Bad Sports?
He's good, isn't he? There it is. There you go.
Hell yeah.
The very first Bad Sports record. Is this the best Bad Sports record, Bill?
I don't have that one, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen it around. I know it was the first one, but I don't have that one.
Yeah, it's from 2009. It's like really, it's like it's in that same ballpark as Radioactivity, High Tension Wires. It's got 2 members from those bands, right? Gregory and Daniel, both in those 2 bands. It's a little different though. I don't know what the other Bad Sports records are like, but I don't know, less dark. I want to say it's a little bit less dark than Radioactivity.
Yeah, they always have more of like a party vibe to them.
Yeah,
they definitely one of the albums I think is called Kings of the Weekend. So that kind of tells you a little bit about it. And then one of the other ones that I have is just called Bras.
It is right. I'm not sure about that title.
It's a good album. Those are the 2 that I have. They used to tour a ton. Like I've seen that band like 4 or 5 times, and I live nowhere close to Texas.
Wow.
They toured a lot with like Radioactivity and with I think they played with High Tension Wires too, like because it's all the same people. So.
Right.
It was like a summer thing. Like Radioactivity and Bad Sports would come through and play the Empty Bottle like 3 summers in a row. It was always awesome.
Great stuff. Like I don't know if this band is like better than Radioactivity. It's kind of different, as you said. It's more like rock and roll. Like there's a bit of rock and roll, and there's more rock and roll in this band than there is in Radioactivity and High Tension Wires. Great stuff though. In that, they're great songwriters, right? These bunch of people. So
yeah. That guy Daniel is in a million bands. Actually, just when I went to the store a couple weeks ago, I picked up a Wax Museums LP that I never had. That he's also one of the singers in there.
Wow. Yeah, pretty prolific.
Always in really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of like an Epitaph era, like Newborn Turks vibe a little bit on a couple of songs on this
I
record.
can see that.
Yeah, which I like. That like it might be controversial, but that's my favorite like era of the Newborn Turks. But like a little bit of like Rolling Stones, rock and roll, like a little bit of like rock and roll, more so than like Radioactivity.
I thought you might say Pennywise. Then I was going to be
yes,
real confused.
Fifth album era Pennywise. It's a great band. If you like, all those bands like Mind Spiders too as well. Mind Spiders is a good band, a bit different, but
yeah,
definitely that.
Well, they also he was in the Mind Spiders too. Yeah, he was in at least a couple of the, because like every time I saw the Mind Spiders, they had a different setup. I know Daniel played bass in at least 2 or 3 of them.
Wow.
So like, yeah, that guy, it's kind of crazy how many different bands he's in. Like basically everything except the Marked Men, it seems like at some point. But
it is crazy. Like, they have like so many good songs, so many good records. Great songwriters. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, I got to get that. I don't have that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only one I've ever seen. Actually, I've got a 12-inch EP too with like the black and white cover.
That might be one of the more recent, the last one. Or no, I'm thinking of one that was like black and red.
Okay, it's like a band photo. It's kind of cloudy and it's like black and white. Like a 5-song, 12-inch EP, I think. But
I can't picture that one in my head. Sure, it's good though.
Great band. Check out Bad Sports.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of catchy rock and roll, like garage punk, good band.
Broad Park, like punk and like Denton. That's the place for it.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's one.
Before they move to Austin, they eventually do.
I was wondering about that. I was like, do some of the members live in Denton, some of them live in Austin, or do they do? Do they all relocated from Austin from Denton? Or
I mean, like you're still looking at like 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. But that is a very Texan thing to do. Is split up across this giant landmass and still have the band going.
Wow.
The back and forth.
Yeah.
Denton's. Well, didn't some of them, like some people start in Denton, then move to Austin, then move back to Denton too? Like there's a constant exchange. It seems like.
Yeah, Denton's where UNT is. So that's like kind of like the big like music school in the Dallas area.
Oh.
Okay. So you see like so many good things come out of that, like small college town or whatever. And then, they do their thing and they get big and then they kind of like move across the state, depending on whatever they need. But it's just a mecca of like usually just like good bands start there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We already like mentioned like Marked Men. That was one of them.
They were from Denton too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
It's a small town too, so
crazy.
Yep.
All right. Nice. That's my first pick.
Yeah, I gotta find that one.
Yeah, you should. Not now though. Wait till the show's after. See.
Yeah.
Yes. Show me your hands. There you go.
We'll do the folded hands villain the whole time.
There you go. All right, Will, what's your first pick? We've already seen Will's first pick actually before.
Funny enough, it's stuck to the slide on the other one. First pick, Burning Kitchen. Damn you if you do, damn you if you don't. Swedish band. I think this record came out in 2003, maybe 2002, 2003, something like that. It's 10-inch, which is a controversial format. Some people fucking hate 10 inches. I really like 10-inch records. I love those guys. I remember hearing this band for the first time. I ended up like buying a friend's distro in high school.
You just bought the whole distro?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very small distro, but I came into it, yeah. And I think I had the Burning Kitchen Consolidation 7-inch. That was the first time I remember hearing them. It's super catchy. I don't want to say it's like street punk, but like it's simple, it's straightforward, it's catchy, really, really catchy vocals. like half in Swedish, half in English.
Mhm.
Really, really great band. Love this record. The 7 inches are also really good. One of the, I think, guitar players in this also was at one point in Verukers and No Security, and I think recorded Totalitar at some point. So
Isn't that Kenko? I think that's who it is.
Matthias.
There you go. We've got the answer there. There you go. There you go.
But really, really cool band, and I highly recommend checking it out if you are into catchy, fun punk rock.
There you go.
Punk may not be the word. Lyrically speaking, it's actually pretty dark. They're definitely like, let's just call them anti-capitalist, I suppose. So, obviously, it's fun lyrics necessarily, but it's really good.
Did they stick around for a while? Like, when were they around? Kind of.
I think like 97 to 2004, maybe.
Okay.
They had a run. I think there's 3 7 inches, this 10-inch, maybe a compilation LP of this. Maybe there's another EP or something, but and then I think I saw a video at some point of them playing in like 2012 or 2011. So I don't know if they did some reunion shows along the way, but yeah, I don't know. Great band.
Yeah, I've never even, not familiar with the name at all.
I know the band very well, but I don't think I've ever listened to them, which is a weird thing to say. But I think they were quite popular at the time, right? Especially in Sweden.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It seems like, with like, I don't know, as with many small communities, as we were just saying with like Texas too, like there's a million bands and most of them are probably pretty good and some of them get like really popular and some of them don't, but you know, you get the right people in the right group and it's probably going to be pretty good, you know?
The chat's popping off tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of compliments flying around. Beautiful. Yeah, I got to check out Burning Kitchen. I have a feeling that I'm gonna enjoy them. It's like kind of like popish punk, right? That we kind of
a little bit. The cadence of the vocals, I think, really sets them apart a little bit. And there's something about the drumming. It's like it's really straightforward. It's not flashy, but the drummer is riding the hi-hat like just so steadily throughout all the songs. It just sounds different.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know that sounds actually like most bands. Somebody's riding the hi-hat the whole time, but there's something about it specifically that like it's straightforward, but it works really, really well.
When you said that, I immediately thought of like the Filthy Animal Taylor from Motorhead and like that groove, that shuffle. That's what I thought when you said that.
Yeah, I think also when their tempo is like a little strange. It's not fast. It's not mid-tempo. It's somewhere in the middle. And like you're saying, there's this weird kind of pocket that they get in that, like, it feels a little uncommon somehow.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like it. Definitely worth checking out.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Burning Kitchen from Sweden.
All right, definitely going to write that down once this is done because keeping my hands where you can see them. That sounds way dirtier. Sorry, I'll stop with that.
All right. Wow, we're off to a good start. 2 great picks to start off with. Right. Bill.
All right. I was thinking this one through. Right here. I thought this through, and I'm going to start on the melodic end and then just devolve from there. So cool. We'll see. So my first pick, it's an album from 1977 by possibly the greatest American band of all time. And there's only one song that's over 3 minutes. There is also a song that's under 1 minute. You're probably thinking it's Someone or Someone. Any guesses?
Well, it's not the Ramones. That's too obvious.
It's not. The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. Wow.
This fucking album. It's the one where they just kind of let Brian go crazy in 1977. So it's the one with all the synths. So like late 70s synth with Brian Wilson songwriting. It is
Wow.
honestly outside of Pet Sounds, it's probably my favorite one. It's even like if you watch interviews with Brian Wilson, he'll say this is his favorite album they ever made. And the best part also, if you ask him what his favorite song is, he'll point out to Ding Dang, which is the 57-second song on here, where it's them just going, whoop, whoop, we're gonna ding dang. And it just, that's a really terrible impression of it. It's 57 seconds long.
Wow.
And the lyrics are mostly just, what about a ding dang? But yeah, I love this fucking album. It's, everything about it is so weird. It doesn't sound like anything else they ever did. It's got a bunch of late 70s synths. Brian wrote pretty much all the songs. It's the one with the least Mike Love on it, so by default, it rules. It's got a weird textured sleeve, which obviously you can't tell through the internet, but and then when you go to the insert, it reads like he's already dead. Like it's this weird tribute to Brian Wilson on an insert when he's alive.
Wow.
To Brian, whom we love with all our hearts. It really reads like they thought he was going to die in 6 months, which at that point he might have. But yeah, almost all the songs on here are just catchy as shit. Love is a Woman, Roller Skating Child, I Want to Pick You Up is a weird one. It's about patting someone on the butt. Ding Dang, as we said. Honking Down the Highway. It's the best song that's ever been written about being stuck in traffic on the highway.
Honking
I
down
love
the
it.
highway.
Honking Down the Highway. Yeah, I love this album. It's the reason why I picked it. There was a video essay that got posted up to YouTube that was like a big dissertation level thing. It did the cardinal sin of being longer than the album itself. The video was 45 minutes, but this album's only like 35 at the longest. Like almost all the songs are between 2 and 3 minutes. Yeah, the day. And then the Ding Dang, if you look up, there's an earlier version of it. I think it's called Brian's Tune, Rolling Up to Heaven. It's officially unreleased, of course, because most of the lyrics are just them goofing off singing "fuck her big tits." So if you ever want to hear the Beach Boys going crazy on whatever substance, look that up too. I love this album. I cannot get enough of it. I've been listening to it nonstop for the last month since that video came on. And then I've got a kind of bonus pick to go with it. I won't go on about this one as much, but it's home demos of Brian at his piano with like a lot of these songs plus other ones that went on to a couple later ones. So there's, this has like Love is a Woman on it. It has Mona. It has Airplane. There's a couple that went on to that Adult Child album that they'd never actually released. And then there's another one on here that's eventually ended up on his first solo album in 1988. So like he hung on to some of these songs. So yeah, Brian Loves You. It's got the nice, sweet, younger picture on the front. And then the back is Big Boy Brian. And then there's even like on this too, there's songs that they never re-recorded. There's an amazing song that kicks it off called That Special Feeling. It's just him on a piano. And it's, I don't know. I fucking love the Beach Boys. I love Brian Wilson. But yeah, ever since that video went up, I sent it to a bunch of other friends. I'm like, okay, I know this is long, but watch this. And it just made me fall in love with this album again. And like that, it's because when they were doing the Brian's Back thing and that 15 Big Ones album that came out before this, that one sucks. I'll freely admit that's not a good album. And then the one right after it, after they scrapped Adult Child, also is not good. So it's just like this one weird little pocket where they just let Brian Wilson do whatever the hell he wanted. And at that point, he was really into writing 2-minute songs on a synth, on like 70s synths. So it's just kind of lo-fi, but it's got a big enough budget to sound good. I fucking love this album. I swear to God, it really could be the best Beach Boys album. Like, to ask me on the right day, it might be my favorite. And the piano demo accompaniment, it's just 2 peas in a pod. And I love it. I love the Beach Boys, and I'm really happy that video came up because it just gave me an excuse to listen to that album again repeatedly.
Beautiful.
I'll have to look that up. I'm a big Beach Boys fan, but I'm not stepped to that yet, I don't think.
It was a huge flop. Like I picked this up. I think the price tag on it was like a $5 record like 10 years ago, maybe. I don't think it goes for much more now. Yeah, the bootleg of the demos cost like 5 times as much.
Yeah, sounds about right. I would like to touch the textured cover. You know, I gotta get a copy.
It's like a blanket. It's a nice, soft, textured blanket. It just feels nice.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you hold up that other the piano accompaniment one again?
Yeah.
And can you show what Brian looks like on the cover with the sticker on his head? He looks particularly deranged. He doesn't
look too happy there. Yeah, we'll move him down. Oh yeah, he's not into it.
No. I love that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
On the
Beach Boys, big band. Everyone knows the Beach Boys. I've never even heard of that record before. Like that's literally the first time I'm like hearing anyone talk about it, anyone showing it. Yeah,
it's one of those. What's the phrase for the real heads? That's the type one. Yeah, it goes, man. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. It sounds great. Your description sold me.
The bootleg, the best. One of the other ones, the labels. Local Reduction Institution presents BB Rider. Smile some more, is what it reads. Just they really went hard to not put Brian's name anywhere on this. Yeah, I picked this up one day at a store where I'm kind of buds with the owner. I'm like, hey man, have you heard this? He's like, no, I don't know what it is. I didn't get a chance to play test it at all, but obviously you're gonna buy it. I'm like, yeah, no, you know me, I'm going to. And I'm extremely happy I did.
Nice one. I'm intrigued. Sounds great.
Yeah. Cannot recommend it enough. You should definitely listen to Love You and then look up the Brian Loves You at the afterward. It helps knowing the actual album first. I mean, that's helpful with demo recordings and all that, but yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite Beach Boy records, and they have a lot of really good ones.
Nice.
A lot of really bad ones too, but that's top shelf.
Nice.
That's the peak of the melody for my choices.
There you go. It's all downhill from me. Nice. All right, Kevin, what's your first pick?
So I'm gonna start off with something weird. So we're talking about what are we listening to now, right? I had a bit of a day, and somehow this got fed to me. But I'm gonna go with a Jucifer record.
Jucifer, huh?
Yeah. So this one is the one that I'm not going to be able to pronounce because it's in French. No, I'm just not going to try. But look at the actual cover and maybe piece it together. But I fucking love this record. I got turned on to Jucifer like way back when they would play Houston in a particular bizarre venue called Super Happy Funland. One of the odd things about it was like it wasn't like a bar or anything like that. It was just like I think it used to maybe be a mechanic shop that became a porn theater or something like that. That became this terrible warehouse where somebody that dressed up like Raggedy Ann would give you $1. I mean, give you a beer if you put $1 in her jar, kind of a place, right? So every time they would tour through, it was always going to be at that particular place for whatever reason. And one of the first bands that was in opened for them, and it was cool. It was more of a, this is mostly like a doom band for sure, but the reason I picked this record is because it's odd in that it goes all over the goddamn place. Like there are tracks in here that are straight up alternative. We have like some kind of like grindy, almost there's like one track specifically that's like gave me like Drop Dead vibes, Thermidor, I believe, or but it bounces all over the place and has so many different like it just doesn't want to like stick together and be one style of music. And yeah, I'm really fucking into it. I haven't listened to this in a couple of years, and I'm glad that today was the day I did it.
Nice, man. Like, I know that band, and the reason I know them is because, like, about that year thing again. Let's say 13 years ago. Just I went to Russia for like 3 weeks. I was traveling around, and when I was in St. Petersburg, they were like Jucifer poster. They were on tour, right? So I guess when I was in St. Petersburg, like Jucifer were playing when I was there, and we almost went to see them, but we didn't. We did something else instead. But yeah, that's when I saw that. That immediately took me back to like being in like St. Petersburg, like 13 years ago. But they're a duo, right? Is that right?
Yeah, it's like I could be stepping on it here, but I'm pretty sure it's like a husband and wife kind of a thing.
I think so.
Do you remember that movie that came out a few years ago? Like, I think it's Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal, yeah.
Yeah, so originally, like, the concept behind, like, the movie itself was actually based on Jucifer.
Oh, wow.
Like, roughly speaking, is a movie about a husband or like a duo band, and one of them like ends up going deaf or whatever. But that's where the inspiration came from.
Really?
And I think when they were trying to get the movie made originally, they actually wanted to use just for themselves as like the main actors, and that didn't work out probably for the you know what I mean. But I think like it's kind of like weird. It's like one of those bands that like I've seen a couple times. I do like what they do, but I will listen to the records and then like tend to like forget about them. But somehow they kind of like creep back in, you know.
Yeah, they're one of those bands where like when it hits real hard.
Oh yeah,
so you have to be in the right mood for it.
Mm-hmm.
They showed up on JBTV, the kind of local public access music video show, a couple different times over the years. And like that's extremely local programming. Like that doesn't go anywhere except Chicago and its suburbs. But they showed up multiple times on that. So yeah, I always got the impression they were huge road dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely road dogs for sure. Like one of the things I just do not understand about their entire like life is live. Oh my god, they try to like build out like an actual like wall of like speakers, which you need like at least like one of the biggest trailers I can only imagine. And like I think they get like cabinets from like whomever or whatever and just like paint them white and like get rid of any kind of branding or whatever. So it's just like another like set of speakers. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who cares? You know what I mean? But to lug all that stuff around absolutely blows my mind. I'm so glad I am not involved with that band because my back would not exist. I don't know how they do it. Good for them. You know,
like they want to look like Megadeth on a festival stage or something with just a
well, no, even bigger than that. Yeah. I mean, we're not like Manowar big, but of course.
They were rolling with like 810s at some point in time or something, you know. And yeah, I remember hearing the rumors about dummy CADs, whether they work or not, who cares? It still look cool as hell. And you still have to move them. And even if there's not speakers in it, yeah, it weighs a little less, but like there's a lot of stuff to move around.
Yeah.
Respect to the people moving all that stuff every time.
Do it all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
But no record on Alternate Tentacles?
Yeah, this one's on yep.
Oh wow.
They show up in the Alternate Tentacles newsletter all the time. Like the kind of email blast.
Up to now. This one's actually a repress by Relapse. Ooh.
Okay. No represses allowed, Kevin.
I guess not. Oh,
show Relapse.
I guess stuff. But no, I mean, like, it's just, you know, it's a solid fucking record. I don't know. I really do like the jumping around and the, like, you know, the refusing to, like, stick to a certain genre. And I also, like, have a soft spot in my heart for that, like, kind of, like, late 90s, like, alternative style of, like, you know, I don't want to go like grungy, but maybe we're touching like in the era.
Indie rock, right?
Yeah, kind of.
No. Nice.
But yep, that is number one for me.
Beautiful. That's a great movie, by the way. The Sound of Metal.
It was really good.
Yeah. It was real fun to see an Oscar-nominated movie with like rudimentary Peni shirts in it.
Yeah, it was.
All
I don't
right.
think I did much after that, did he?
Who?
The guy that played the guy like the main character.
Oh, was that Mad? Hey, he
Yeah,
was in the first Venom as the bad guy. One of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Venom.
Venom, yeah, it's like Die Hard 2, man. It's funny as hell.
Well, shit. Yeah, here's my mark for hell. I am not a superhero movie guy.
Fine.
It's hard.
It's
really when all my friends were trying to get me onto everything with the Avengers, like I actually sat down and watched every single fucking movie over a course of 2 weeks, and I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna do this again. And that's kind of where it stopped.
All right, band's breaking up.
All right.
It's good.
My turn, right? Round two. Man, I talked about this band like last year, probably around this time, maybe a little bit later. Japanese band. I talked about them because they had a new LP out last year. They've got another new LP out this year. It's like their 17th studio LP since like 2006. Pretty prolific band, and I'll get into some more details about that like later. It's a tough sell, this one, because they're an amazing band, but you can't really find their records like outside of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Their fan base is pretty much like 99.9% Japanese, but they're an amazing band. I love them so much. This is their new album. It came out on Wednesday. It's Friday now, right? It came out on Wednesday. So not the Cro-Mags, but the Cro-Magnons. The Cro-Magnons. Man, this band has a long history. I'll get into it a little bit as we go through, but this is their 17th studio album. They've had like 27 7-inch singles too.
Jesus Christ.
Amazing, right? And they're all like...
They're like the Japanese OCs.
Yeah, but like, it's amazing. Like, so these guys, okay, like, this is the Cro-Magnons, but basically the two main guys, Hiroto Komoto and Masatoshi Mashima, vocalist, guitarist, were in the Blue Hearts. I don't know if anybody knows that. The Blue Hearts, they're probably like the most famous, like, punk band ever, like, from Japan. But they're like a big, like, major label punk band. Everyone loves the Blue Hearts. They have that song, Linda Linda. Might ring a bell. I don't know, like, there's that band, Linda Linda's right. They took their name from that song. But they were a huge band in the 80s in Japan. They put out, like, 10 albums in 10 years. They broke up. The two main guys formed another band called the Hi-Lows, who put out, like, 10 albums in 10 years as well. And then they broke up, and then they formed like the Cro-Magnons, who are on their like 17th. So these guys have been like prolific since the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And they're amazing, like going back to like songwriting and like songwriters, they're amazing songwriters. What do they sound like, you're thinking? Well, I mean, basically, they're a 77 like punk band at their core, really influenced by very like early Clash, early Buzzcocks, a little bit of Ramones, some like Japanese, like early Japanese punk, like Anarchy and bands like that. But they're like a huge band in Japan. You know, you see they got like what's the anime? Naruto, famous anime. They have a song in like Naruto, which is like a super famous like anime series. But it's punk. It's like they're a punk band. It's wild. All their albums are like incredibly produced. Like they never got like influenced by like what was in vogue. It's like analog recordings in mono. They sound like the early Beatles records, like beautifully like produced in that kind of like analog style. Amazing band, absolutely amazing.
So how many of those 17 do you have?
I have about 9 or 10 of them on vinyl and about 4 on CD. Man. But it's funny, man, because like, okay, this came out on Wednesday, right? It's sold out, it's gone, and they won't repress it. But they always do vinyl. There's a CD version as well. Yeah. But I mean, like it's funny because like you get those early Clash songs, but like the Clash, they also do like, you know, they might put like a song with like a Caribbean or a calypso beat. They do other stuff too. but basically at their heart, they're like a 77 punk band with like some Rolling Stones and like Kinks thrown in there as well, because they're into like 60s stuff too. So
That sounds really cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're an amazing band. I mean, it's hard to talk about because I know the records are really hard to get like outside of Japan, but they might be on like Spotify or YouTube. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard them, but I already know they're better than the Cro-Mags. So
that's for sure. And hey, I don't know if you guys can see this, but like the attention to detail. These guys are like they love the 60s and the 70s. I don't know if you can see this, but like the record jacket has like the classic like it's not the tip on.
Oh yeah, it has a little fold.
On three sides. All three sides have the fold. They always do that with like all their records.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. These guys like they love vinyl, like they love like analog and mono recordings. Amazing, but it's crazy. Like they're so popular in Japan, but like nobody knows about them like outside Japan. So
yeah, I'm completely unfamiliar.
Yeah. Nobody really. I mean, some people know the Blue Hearts, right? They played in New York, like in the 80s. I think they might have played at CBGB's actually. The Blue Hearts.
Yeah. Blue Heart sounds kind of familiar, but even just kind of back of the brain. I don't think I ever actually heard it, but
yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of hard to talk about in a way because the album from last year, like. I don't even know if that one's on Discogs yet, like the one from last year. Nobody sells the records. Once they get them, they don't really get sold too much.
So it really is like the OCs then, the obsessive fans that hang on to everything.
It's funny because I pre-ordered this, right? Like in November, and I went to pick it up on Wednesday, and as I went to the counter, there was like boxes and boxes of this, right, with people's names on them who had pre-ordered it, right? And that's just like that's just like one record store. So
one store, shit.
One store, so yeah. Have a look on YouTube. You might find some Cro-Magnons songs. Great band, punk rock, major label punk rock.
It's where all the best comes from, as we know.
And I'm going to see him for the first time in April.
Oh, awesome!
I'm excited to go and see him. And I've seen video. They're still like incredibly energetic live bands.
What kind of size venues do they play?
It's like that's a good question because I wanted to go and see him like last year, but tickets sold out in like 10 minutes or something like online. But the place they played was too small. They have a little bit of a problem with venues, I want to say, because they're not that big that you're going to get like 20, 30, 40,000 people, but they're also not like a 2,000 or 3,000 seater kind of a place. So I don't know. It's I think the place they're playing in April is like a 5,000 or 6,000 kind of place. But it's
like a big theater, but
big theater, big hall.
Biggest hall you can get before you get into like amphitheater territory.
Like that. Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited for you. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited. And it's not too late. It's like these guys have been playing music since like the 80s, but they're still good. They're still really, really good. So
nice.
There you go. That's my second pick. Stay tuned when next year I'll be showing the 18th Cro-Magnons. All right.
I was impressed by bands that are able to put out that much music.
Yeah,
and they're pretty good. Like they don't just put out all their stuff is good. It's like it's insane.
Yeah, that's
I like the 7-inch singles. They're very into like the 7-inch single too. So.
I was at the garbage truck again, Mike.
There he is, right on cue. He's a little late actually. He's 9 minutes late.
What's going on here?
You don't watch the show. It's like he comes every week at like 12:30 my time, right? Here he is.
They just like made the little like jingle.
So we know he's coming, right?
Sounds like a nice
trash out. The garbage man's coming.
That's so
That's
nice.
my third pick. It's the garbage man jingle.
I like that you are.
Sorry.
I just like that you're rewarded with the jingle for the garbage man, and we get it just for the ice cream truck.
Right. We're
Well,
classy.
Our recycling guys are really like into shoegaze. So like, no, I'm kidding. Like I have a video of it. But every once in a while we'll hear them go through every like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and it's just like My Bloody Valentine or something of that like nature, and you don't think that, and it's just like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? Of course, it's the recycling guys, by the way. You know, I don't know.
That's a really catchy tune. Like, you find yourself humming it sometimes. What's that tune? All right, Will, what's your second?
All right. Well, I think I've bemoaned this to Bill already, but I've managed to move, I think, 4 times in the last year. And
Wow.
the vast majority of my collection is in a storage unit at the present moment. So what I've been working off of is things that I purchased in that time, and then I brought home 1 crate of basically comps and actually my 10 inches. So I had that Burning Kitchen record available.
Nice.
But this past weekend, I went down to Richmond, and on the way home, I stopped in Falls Church, Virginia. There's this long-running store there called CD Seller that my friend was actually joking about stealing Pennywise CDs from when he was 13 in like 1998. But they moved locations, and it went from being like an okay place to like actually seeming like a really, really cool record store at this point. So I stopped in there Saturday, and I was delighted to find this Dan Higgs Metempsychotic Melodies record. I don't know how familiar you all may be with Dan Higgs, but he was the singer in Lungfish, most notably.
Okay.
And, iconic artist as well. But he had, I don't know, he probably did or continues to do maybe 8 solo records. I had the pleasure to go see him perform at this place, Union Pool, here maybe 2 or 3 months ago as well. It's like, I don't know, avant-garde, experimental, pretty far out there. Some of his live performance that night literally consisted of him like reading nonsensical poetry out of a notebook. But he also delves into other realms of music. So on this record, mostly there's amplified banjo. There's some cool synthesizer. It's very repetitive. I guess it's almost like drone-y, raga-esque in a way. I don't know. People would probably draw like comparisons to John Fahey style, like finger picking and getting into some weird dissection of like traditional American music as well. But in particular, he gets a little freakier and far out. But I love it. I got turned on to this record a couple years ago, but was just jamming the YouTube video.
There you go.
But was delighted to find this at the CD seller in Virginia the other day. So, yeah, happy to have a copy and be getting to spin it in real life.
Nice.
Cool.
His son was indeed entrapped under ice, or still is entrapped under ice as well, and I think he did some artwork under ice too. So,
wow, thanks for that. Wow.
Yeah, runs in the family, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Lungfish is one of those bands that I know the people that are into are like super into. Like you don't hear about many casual Lungfish fans. But
right.
I need to cross that threshold.
It's definitely a specific sound. And yeah, if you like it, you probably really like it. And if you don't, you probably absolutely never want to hear it ever again. I mean, maybe it's not that extreme, but I feel like they're pretty polarizing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the only song I ever actually heard from them is that 20 Years of Discord box set that came out 20 years ago now.
Yes, it did come out 20 years ago now. Or maybe it was 20 years last year, but yes, just a long time. I could see you being a Lungfish fan, knowing what we know.
Yeah.
There we go. Diego says it's his favorite Discord band. So there you
go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some heavy competition.
It's really heavy for Discord in some sort of way too. Like tonally. Like it fits in with like the Fugazi metric, if you will, but like it's like almost heavier in some way. I don't know. Great band though. But yeah, if you want ever curious about some of his more experimental and kind of like far out there stuff, or you are in a deep state of personal life change and need a soundtrack to meditate to, and also works well with that. So
If you
Dan
just
Hill,
so happen to have moved 4
some
times in a year.
animated pictures, you know.
Sounds very good.
Yeah. So
Awesome. Yeah, definitely want to check that out.
Yeah. Does he have a big discography, like solo stuff?
I think he's got at least 7.
Oh wow. Okay.
So bad.
Yeah, and they're varying in their content as well. Like there's some of it that is similar to this with, again, like banjo, guitar, some other like minimal music. Some of it is more integrated with like spoken word would be the way to describe it. Poetry, spoken word, and avant-garde music. So yeah, he's an interesting character.
Rumors were the guitarist of Lungfish used Keith Levine's. That's Keith Levine.
What the fuck does that even mean? Like instead of a pick, or as a slide, just a single tooth on one string.
Well, as a guitar pick, yeah. There you go. Glad you clarified that what he used it for.
Yeah. That's a real good way to fuck with the enamel, is just using it as a slide.
Nice one. All right.
Turn.
Yeah, Bill, what you got?
All right. So keeping on the more melodic end, but getting to it, I went on a trip a couple months ago and to New Orleans, went into Euclid Records. It was a really cool store. I found a lot of great stuff. And probably the coolest thing I found was this weird bootleg of a Scottish band recorded in 1985. Probably pretty easy once I reveal it. But it's a live recording of the Jesus and Mary Chain called Taste the Floor. So it's recorded in 1985. So they basically had Psycho Candy and all those songs in the pocket, but the record is like a third just covers. So they have all these amazing songs, and they do the Vegetable Man, the Pink Floyd song.
Oh wow.
They do a Standells song that's not Dirty Water. I had to look that one up. Barracuda. And then a Penetrator song, which they're one of those like first wave UK bands I've still just kind of never really heard. But yeah, so there's no real information on it. It just is a nice picture sleeve on the front. Just says Jesus and Mary Chain Taste the Floor. The back is the exact same picture, saying recorded in Birmingham, 1985, and a fake barcode. And it looks really slick. Oh yeah, even better. When you actually pull the record out, it is clear vinyl with no label. So you kind of have to guess the track listing. Yeah, I had to look up. I consulted the internet. I consulted setlist.fm. I consulted Discogs. The original track listing was wrong. It sounds really good for being recorded when it was in 85. So it's a super noisy. It's when they were still kind of in their obnoxious phase. So like even when they're playing real songs, he's basically still just singing fuck, 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 fucking fuck for like half of the words. Like in the middle of, Psycho Candy songs. And there is also, the song Suck or Fuck or whatever it's actually called is in there. It's kind of wild. They have all these amazing songs, but a third of it is just these weird covers.
Wow.
And it sounds pretty good for the time. I was super excited to find it in the stacks. And I was looking at it. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, it's a really good looking picture sleeve, like pretty professional for a bootleg. And then after maybe like a month after I got home, I realized why it looked so good. It is just the sleeve from Psycho Candy repeated twice. So turn that around. So it's just that put on both sides. So it's real slick.
You have them all figured out, don't you?
He's done his homework, yeah.
Yeah. I researched, man. I did not want to work is pissing me off. So I did some research. Yeah, it's really great. Even like I said, even when, you know, they're not playing mostly their own songs. So it's 9 songs, 3 covers, 1 that's just a noise fuck around. So it only leaves, I want to say, The Living End, Upside Down, and I can't remember what the other 2 actual tracks are, but there's only really 3 or 4 of their own songs on this. But it's an experience. Yeah, you'll just be grooving along, listening to the song, and like, oh yeah, no, chorus is coming up. I know that. And he just evolves into fucking fuck. It's like, okay. Like, I always kind of thought, you know, like when you're reading up on them, it's like, oh yeah, their shows devolved into riots. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, now I can kind of see
Yeah.
a little bit of that. But yeah, I was looking up just what the covers were. Like the only Standell song I ever knew was Dirty Water. And I listened to the original of Barracuda. It sounds awesome. So now I want to find that. Like, nice. I thought the Standells were very much a 1-song band, but apparently they weren't. And I know that Penetration's been a blind spot for a long time too.
Oh, Penetration, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah,
Penetration are great. Like those first 2 albums are amazing.
Yeah, they're one of those like first wave blind spots for me that it's like, oh cool, that's one of their songs. I should probably look this up.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, I got it, like they priced it fairly cheap. I looked it up on, you know, when I'm cataloging my records, and it sells usually for, you know, like 35, 40, 50 bucks. But I think I got it for like 20. It must have been sitting in the stacks for a while. Yeah, Euclid Records in New Orleans, got a lot of cool shit there. And that was by far my favorite one. Went like at the beginning of December, and that hasn't been filed away yet. I've been listening to it pretty consistently for the last 2 months. Yeah, it's still very melodic, but it's getting there. Yeah.
That's a band I didn't get into. I couldn't get into until like I was like 43 or something.
Oh shit! So much later then.
Yeah, like because I know at the time they weren't like the enemy, but it was like very much like what the art students, you know, were listening to, and being like a very narrow-minded punk with spiky hair. I wanted nothing to do with it, you know. It's so stupid, right, to think about in retrospect, but great band, especially like those first 2 LPs.
Yeah, it gets a little dicey when they get into kind of the programmed drum loops and everything. I don't think I've heard the last 2 or 3 90s ones. I think I stopped at Honey's Dead, I think is the last one I heard. But like we saw them, my partner and I saw them in 2017 or something, and they were really good then. And it was one of the first shows where we actually went up in the balcony and sat for the whole show. And like, nice. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Feeling it. All right. 30 years old now. Seeing the Jews and Mary Chain, and I'm sitting down for the whole show.
Nice.
Can I ask a really interesting question?
Yeah.
Is there a matrix on it, just out of curiosity?
Let's see. That is a very good question.
Let's check the matrix.
Curious if they'll even be able to actually. JMCH35B. And then
you meant it somewhere.
This is so goddamn tiny. There's other stuff. It doesn't look like scratches, but I genuinely cannot read this. Like I can tell that it's in the form of some kind of letter, but suck the floor on one side. Suck the floor. So there's some identification, but yeah, it's a little wild. There's not even a center label or anything on it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was so happy when I saw this, and I saw that it was at, you know, a reasonable price. Because like, yeah, most of these types of, you know, like rare bootlegs and shit, it's like, oh yeah, $75. No, it was something that, you know, regular folks can buy.
Us regular folks.
There you go.
That's right.
That information has led us to know that was made in the Czech Republic. There you go.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a very big fan of this. It turned me. I've been on like an almost nonstop Jesus and Mary Chain kick for the last 2 months after this. So great band. They got a new one coming out, and the 2 preview songs were actually pretty cool too. So yeah, Haven't ordered the record. I'm gonna see if maybe one of the stores around here gets it in the store so I can just pick it up. But
Cool.
yeah, I liked it a lot.
All right, Kevin, what you got? What's your second?
Let's see.
Second record out there.
All right. So, where the hell we go?
Oh,
They still filed?
Yes. How do you guys not? There we are. All right.
Found it.
So I'm gonna do my Houston shout out. Easily my favorite band that came out of that town while I was living there. Secret Prostitutes.
Oh,
For sure. This is their I think second LP. Welcome to Punk View Evolution. We can do whatever we want. It is a fucking nightmare of languages and like styles. I mean, just one of those things that I clearly I'm like kind of attracted to. I really like it when I see a record that's like not like a single straight thing. You know what I mean? If I can put something on that like sounds awesome but different, as the minutes go by, I'm always going to be like, more attracted to that. And they really did a fucking bang up job of it. Probably one of the best punk bands I've ever seen live.
wow.
For sure. Easy. So yeah, I don't know how much everybody knows about them, but so they're originally from Houston. It is like members of Reason of Insanity, a few other bands like Real Energy. Yeah, like
that's one Jordan brought up last time I was on that I asked you about.
Yeah. I mean, like that's all this guy named Josh, who like basically everything that he's ever touched in Houston punk has like been fucking perfect. Like I definitely have always been a huge fan of everything he's ever done. He's a guitarist on this. The drummer / vocalist is this guy named Adit. He's I guess like I don't know exactly his story. I know that he is from an Indonesian family. Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's just something real. But anyway, like I think like one of the things that they did was like, they set out to do like this cool, like weird, like, kind of like 77 style punk in Indonesian like language. And then it kind of like grew out to where they started like inviting other people in the scene to do their own like guest vocals or like guest tracks on it. I think in this particular one, like there is a number somewhere on this record, and if I like dug through it, I can probably find it. But I'm sure if I did that right now, I just fumble myself. But I believe it says something like they were like, "Hey, there's like 9 different languages represented here, or whatever." So we have like German, Spanish, obviously English, Indonesian, and I don't know, man. It's all over the fucking place. And all these different records these different songs are fucking cool. They go from like just your straight up 77 punk stuff to like more new wave things too. No, I mean it's a solid fucking record. I love that fucking band. I wish they kept doing what they're doing, but I don't think that they are a unit at all anymore. But yeah, it's kind of where it's stopping for me right here. Like, okay.
Their name got out a little bit. Like I remember when you mentioned after I brought up the Real Energy, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's a Secret Prostitutes guy." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds familiar." Like their name got out a little bit for sure.
Okay, that's the record that Jordan showed, right? The Real Energy.
Yeah. So that's members.
Same members of
the Real
Secret
Energy.
Prostitutes. Okay, gotcha.
Do you remember if it's like what the cover of that particular record looked like? Like, did it like was it like a pixelated picture of somebody's face?
No, it looked like children's art.
Okay.
Like it was a lot of kind of primary colors, if I recall correctly, and like a lot of scribble art. I think it was just called like the Real Energies first LP or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Mm. Well, yeah, like previous to this, like for sure, Reason of Insanity is like one of my favorite hardcore bands from that like late 90s, early 2000s like era. If you ever get a chance to like pick up any of those, just the fucking best shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now I know that they had like a really close connection with Richmond. I know they did something with like all the guys from like Direct Control, and yeah, like I know that they were like close with them.
That's cool area.
You know, I don't know. Cool shit. Like they kind of like tried to do something that was weird, especially for like Houston and like Texas in general. What's up? Yeah, hell yeah. What I really liked about them is that it wasn't like kind of like just like dumb straightforward like punk and stuff like that. They really at the time like brought like, you know, Italian influences specifically to what they were doing, which was just like kind of like bizarre for Houston and like Louisiana at the time. I think Howie was at Baton Rouge. Guy in the chat probably knows. I don't know. I just remember that there was like definitely like a switch up. I'm not totally for sure. But I know that was like kind of like a thing. It was just like Houston / Baton Rouge / New Orleans or something like that over the time.
Wow, there you go. Hi Daniel. There you go.
Let me see here. There you go. Yep.
That's cool.
But yeah, fantastic band. If you are not initiated to Secret Prostitutes, please do so.
Will do.
Feminists fucking rule. And everything over after that, maybe a little different, but not bad in any way. I don't think they ever put out something. They just did.
So the one that you showed is like that's the one to get, right?
This one actually, I wouldn't say this is like where you want to start.
Okay.
I would say start with the first 7 inches.
All right. Okay.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah. And they put out an LP before this. There was a split with I think Cola Freaks. That was pretty good.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then they did a third LP that I don't have a copy of, but also fucking good. But just like could not stop like just churning it out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic band, and I wish they would come back because I would fly out and see it in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Beautiful.
All right, time for me to show some fucking hardcore punk. It's about time, right? Let's get to it. From Toronto, kind of current band. I don't know if they're still active, but this record came out a couple of years ago. Man, you know what? I've not seen anybody like talk about this band before. And when you say that, there's always a danger of being like, well, you know, I'm the one that's like ignorant, and everyone else knows this band, and I'm the ignorant one here. But yeah, I've never seen it posted on people's lists, or I've never seen it posted in any of the the groups that we're in online or anything. I've never seen it before anywhere. This is actually one of my 501 picks. This should not be 501 yen, and it isn't actually on Discogs. It's quite a bit more expensive than that. Let's have a look at the record. Hopefully someone knows what it is, or it's familiar. Maldita. Self-titled LP from 2022 on Cursed Blessings Records, which I don't know a lot about. But there's a logo, the black flag, font and the safety pin.
Yeah,
there you go. Man, this is amazing. It's all the songs are sung in Spanish, so it's like old like Spanish punk, which a lot of old Spanish punk kind of is by way of like UK 82. It's like their own spin on UK 82. Yeah. This is it's super catchy, but it's also like way more aggressive and kind of violent as well. Hornet's Nest guitars, like super fuzzed out guitars, like yeah, female vocals. Like I said, Rosa Venenosa. She wrote all the lyrics and she's a singer in this band. I know, man. Like I feel like if this had come out on like La Vida S and Mus or Iron Lung, it would have been like more well known to me. but it kind of it would fit on either of those labels too. It's kind of like in that ballpark, you know, kind of noisy, but also very, very catchy. Okay, cool. They're still around. There you go. Nice. Thanks, Mike.
The name sounds kind of familiar, but I don't think I've ever heard him.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally new to me. It's a Jack Control like mastering job, so it sounds great. It's pretty noisy, but also very, very catchy at the same time. And I like the drums on this record. It has those like wet cardboard drums. They're like a little bit like distant in the mix, but it works really well for this band. Yeah, and the drum is really good too. I don't know, the way they've mixed it, it's like really works for this band. So
I like that you mentioned the mastering, because I think as far as like, you know, kind of nerdy punk and hardcore shit goes, like, you know, if you see like the Jack Controller, you see Daniel Hussein or Mikey Young, it's like, okay, if you see that in the credits, like how many other people would even give a shit about like, okay, let's look at the mastering credit. And like, that's like one of those bits where like, all right, it's the real nerd shit when you see,
you know, they know what they're
mastering,
doing, right?
You know?
Master. Yeah. I know it sounds great. Like, I mean, Jack did amazing. I mean, obviously I haven't heard what the record sounded like before he got his hands on it, but yeah, it sounds amazing. Like the way he's done it with those drums are like a little bit far back in the mix, and the vocals kind of up front. Great vocals. Yeah, I think Mike was telling me that there's some members of this band are in that band Last Agony, also from Canada, that share members with Absolute, who are a more well-known.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know if is that their only record, or
it's their second LP?
Second LP. Okay.
Yeah, I've not heard the first one. The first one's like self-released. It's great. Okay. Great stuff. I mean, totally. If this would have been out on like La Vida Es Mus in 2022, it will be in like a lot of people's like, hey, like end of year like lists. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, the cover is awesome. I like the color scheme of the pink bleeding into the yellow.
Hey, I'm glad you like that. I've got a treat for you. Check this out.
Oh shit, another one? Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
There you go. Check that out.
Someone's got a friend that works at a plant.
Yeah,
you don't see that very often anymore, do you?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's only available like on this variant. There's like no, that's it. That's all you get. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Say what you want with vinyl. It looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
Great band.
Maldita. Yeah, definitely check that out.
And they're still going. They're still active too. So maybe we'll get something new from them. Not in not too distant future. There you go.
Yeah.
Did you say they were from Spain?
No, they're a Canadian band, but they sing Spanish.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. All right, Will, what you got? Third pick.
All right. I'm deciding if I go for my picks or alternates, but I'll stick with my picks for now.
All right.
For number 3, I've got Consec, Wheel of Pain. Got a dog hair on my mouth. Band is from Athens, Georgia, and I first got exposed to them. We played a show with them in Roanoke, Virginia, this festival that was organized there, which is really cool because Roanoke, for those of you unaffiliated, it's not a small town, but it was not known for much going on punk-wise. So it was really cool that this guy Josh moved there and put together this fest. I want to say that's his name. Forgive me if it's not. But anyways, Concept are fucking awesome. I loved them seeing them play the couple times that I've gotten to. Not for the Week, based in put out this LP. I think Jordan, on the subject of mastering, I think Jordan, who runs Not for the Week, they have a recording studio there as well. But I think he mastered this record. Nice poster in there. Nice. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that he mastered by Greeno. So he mastered that. I think they self-recorded the record, but it is 10, maybe 12 songs. It goes by really fast. Music is fast. quick drums. It's kind of bouncy, super mean. I love the vocals. I know that one of the people in the chat right now, maybe that was like the part that they didn't care for, but I love how the vocals sound on this. They're like desperate and nasty and like agonizing. But the music is like quick. The riffs turn around really fast. There's some cool whammy bar action on the guitar playing.
Wow.
Yeah, the occasional breakdown with whammy, but like mostly just like super fast, blistering hardcore punk from Athens, Georgia. Consec. The singer also, if I recall, just moved to Chicago maybe last summer, so maybe y'all will see them around. Their name is Reith. R-E-T-H, I believe. Yeah, so I don't know if they're playing music there. I don't know if Consec is still a band. I hope we will get more, but Georgia to Illinois is a long distance to be making a band.
Yeah, that's a hefty move.
Man. I don't know how familiar. Was that?
I'm Reith if you're in town. Hello.
Yeah, hang out with Bill. And I don't know how familiar you all are with Not For The Weak records, but they've been putting out some heaters, and also the music that they're recording at that studio is like seemingly the things that I've heard that have not involved anything that I'm involved in sound good. I won't speak to the quality of how I feel about our own things, but Norfolk's great, Jordan's great, Greeno's great. I don't know. Shout out to the Norfolk crew for sure. But yeah, once again, check out Consec if you like fast hardcore punk.
Yeah.
I've definitely talked about something on that label before, but I can't remember what it was.
Reckoning Force, maybe?
What's that?
Reckoning Force, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Good one.
I love that Reckoning Force album.
Yeah.
That LP is so good. I was out of the country when they played Chicago, and I was so fucking pissed that I missed them. I had Dave pick me up a T-shirt. So I had the tour shirt, even though I didn't actually see him. But love Reckoning Force. Yeah, I fucking love that band.
Great.
Yeah, Not For The Weak puts out a ton of good stuff. Like that record, I know I listened to online. Like I put it on Bandcamp, and then just kind of got lost in work. And before I knew it was over, and like, but after I looked and saw how much work I had done while it was playing, I'm like, oh fuck. Like I don't remember listening to it, but I know it helped me work faster. So
there you go. That's it. The Hell record is on Not For The Weak. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, which is one of the best records from last year, right?
Yeah, I got to listen to that again.
Nice.
Thank you for the reminder, Will.
There you go. Beautiful.
If it gets you through the day at work, and you're doing your work, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah. Then you just listen to it like 15 times because it's probably only 20 minutes long.
I know.
There's a lot of like 12-minute LPs coming out these days, right?
Yeah. a lot of stuff that could have been a 7-inch, but
I'm not complaining because I do like the big ones.
What should it have been? I feel like big record sounds good,
Yeah, I prefer. Yeah.
For art.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. All right, Bill, what's your third pick? What you got?
All right, third pick.
Yeah.
Kind of in the middle zone on the melody. It's a record that came out originally in 1982. It's from Germany.
Ooh.
I looked up what the English translation of this means not that long ago, finally. It's obviously a reissue. I don't have any original like 82 era German records sitting around. I'm not that rich. Harnröhrer.
Oh.
Reissued by Static Age Music. They run that Static Shock record shop in Berlin.
That's right, yeah.
This was reissued in like 2009 or 2019, I want to say. So it's super catchy. Lyrics in German. It sounds like second wave UK punk. It's not hardcore at all. But it's approaching the kind of like it's got that super fast hi-hat and it's got super catchy leads. The thing I would compare it to most would be the drones.
Okay.
Either the drones or the Cortinas.
All right.
It's 4 songs. I get the choruses stuck in my head all the time, even though, I don't speak German, like Bundeswehr. They just sing Bundeswehr in a way that gets stuck in your head. And Schwarze Weiß, there's a riff in the last song that gets stuck in my head repeatedly. It's like the bridge riff in the fourth song, Schwarz and Weiß. I don't remember the German word for
that. Means black. Doesn't that mean black and white?
Yeah. That one's black and white. I forgot to even say Harnröhrer means urethral.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess of a urethra.
Nice.
Harnröhrer. It's really good. If you're into like the kind of second wave UK, like the DIY UK second wave stuff, definitely go for this. There's catchy riffs, short little leads.
Nice.
Stat Gorilla, that's Urban Gorilla. Makmal Habe Eat Stat. I don't remember what that is. I looked it up, but I forgot already. I love this record. It's I went to the store that's connected to the label. Static Age Music is the label, but Static Shock Records is the store in Berlin.
Right.
Obviously, they couldn't reuse Static Shock Records as the record label name. But yeah, it's honestly top 2-3 record stores I've ever been in my life. I could have easily. Well, Will, did you go there when you were in Berlin?
Is that the one that's really close to the Ramones Museum?
Yeah, the one in Neukölln.
Yeah.
That store fucking ruled. I could have easily spent my entire travel fund in there.
Yes.
So much good shit in there. I stuck to just buying German bands.
Right.
I was like, where am I going to see this shit at home? It's super catchy. And it's kind of, it's not super clean. Like it's not raw, like raw punk stuff. But it's also not, it doesn't sound like it's coming from a second generation cassette or anything. Like it was actually released as a 7-inch in 82.
Right.
And then I was looking up, they only put this out. Didn't look like there were any demos. No one, like they did a cut from looking around on Discogs after. There were like some other bands in like the early 90s and late 80s, but nothing that was all that great, at least to my ears. But yeah, it's like as I've gotten a little bit older, I've gotten a little less into the idea of like the perfect one and done 7-inch just because I'm fucking greedy and I want more. Like that kind of, quick destruction stuff doesn't sound quite as good when you're a little bit older, but I really wish there was more stuff from these guys. It's when you do put it on, you're going to listen to Bundeswehr and then you're going to hear the bridge riff in Schwarz and Weiß. And it's got that kind of, that like second wave UK stuff where it's got the power chord and then they kind of hammer on like, there's a couple of those and just, it makes me want to punch the air no matter what I'm doing. Nice. I love this record. It's really cool. Like really cool artwork. It's a kind of a fold over sleeve too. So the inside is like handwritten lyrics and more pictures. It's great. And yeah, a little postcard from the store. So you can even see where the store is. It's on Birkenstrasse in Berlin. I'm really glad they reissued it. I really like a lot of the stuff that Static Age reissues. They did a little while back. There was a reissue of a Camping Sex record.
They did do that, yeah.
Yeah, they did the Camping Sex record. They did Hyann, which was a kind of more modern German band that put out my favorite record of 2018. That when I went to the store, I asked, I saw they had T-shirts and they had buttons for that band, and talked to the clerk for a little while after I kind of sussed out, sprechen Sie English, real bashfully. I was like, how do you know about Hyann? I'm like, they're fucking greatest band. I found them on Bandcamp. Like, I'll tell them that someone from America likes them. Like, please, yes.
I know the guy that runs the store on the label. He's been to Japan a couple of times.
Yeah, there was someone involved with that band in the store. I wish I could go back to Berlin almost just for that store.
I think he's in that band Diat, the post-punk band as well, Christian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I did. Sure, yeah. I was there right when the second Diat LP came out, but I was like a month early. And I asked, like, hey, do you have this? Like, no, it's not out until April.
Yeah.
We were there in March. Like, ah, shit. All right. I guess I'll just blow 100 euros on something else, you know?
Man, I don't know that record, but that like whole era of like German punk is so good. There's so many good records. It's like, it is punk, but it's kind of leaning into hardcore a bit, and it's like very anthemic, and there's like tons of like sing-along choruses, and it's very unique German like sounding music.
Yeah, I love it. It's so catchy. It doesn't matter that I had to look up on Google Translate what the actual words meant.
I didn't know that one song title from drinking beer, like black beer and like wheat beer. That's why I knew you want that meant.
That's nice. Yeah, nice. I love it. It probably, I know I saw it in a couple American distros for a while, so it's probably at least semi okay to find.
Yeah, he has pretty good like distribution, right? That label. So.
Yeah, their stuff gets out. Yeah, I was very excited to find that, and it's just super catchy, super fun. That was one like I hadn't put it on for a little while, and then I got that bridge riff of the just in my head randomly, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, I haven't listened to Harnröhrer in a while, and then just like 7 times in the last week. It's like, all right, fuck yeah, I'm going to talk about this. I looked at the list, and thank God no one had it.
No. It's a first. Yeah, nice, beautiful.
Yeah, can't recommend it enough.
Right. All right, Kevin, have you got your record ready? Is it ready to go? Nice.
This is the one I actually prepped. So give it a little bit of an intro. This is a band that I'm a huge fan of, but like I will say that there is like a bit of a relationship there. I was in a band in Houston called Versklaven prior to this. I don't know if you guys are aware of, but Decomp.
Yeah. I have the tape for that. Yeah.
Decomp.
Yeah, so Decomp, they're from Portland. A couple of the members are Houstonians that I have known for quite some time, and I was in bands with prior to. It's pretty funny. So the story with this is that they started a band in Houston called Ring, or I think it was like Ice Cold Rain in like Finnish or something like that, which they were probably wrong about. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The joke was that they hit up at IKEA and they got a band name pretty quick.
There's a lot of band names in IKEA.
Guys, sorry. But anyway, they had a pretty cool like setup in Houston before they decided to do what a lot of guys do and pack up their things and move off to the promised land of the Pacific Northwest. And its whole name Ring ended up becoming Decomp. I fucking really like this band because first off, like Crust is like definitely gonna be like my big like everyday like that this is like how I came into DIY punk. You know what I mean? It was like between like crust bands and then like even like grind bands and stuff like that. That was like was my introduction to something that wasn't like an Epitaph band or something like that. You know what I mean? So the style that they decided to port over there, I just think fucking rules because it's got like this. It's hard to like even like. I was listening to it today while I was cleaning, and I thought about like first off, like the riffs in it have this like type of like kind of like chugging thing, where it's just like kind of like rolling like that gives it like this stompy kind of fucking vibe. And I can't think of a lot of fucking bands that have that type of energy or equivalency. And I think that's like really interesting because like in that particular world, you see like a lot of bands try to sound like an older band from like the early 80s or whatever. I'm definitely guilty of it. The first band I was in was definitely a Sacrilege ripoff. You know what I mean? And Have no qualms about that. I fucking love it. It's my favorite band of all time. I really like what they have going on here because it sounds like something that could have come out in that era, but it's not. I just can't find an equivalent.
Wow.
They were one of the first bands that I saw live post the pandemic, I guess, or whatever, you know, like after everything was starting to like kind of like open up again. A show got set up in Portland where it was like Decomp, another band that I really am a huge fan of called Gast. Also like really crusty, especially in that like kind of like axe grinder and like, you know, just like heavy end stuff. Rigorous Institution, and like, you know, all that stuff. The lineup was like just too good. I had the opportunity and I just like, you know, got a plane ticket, took off, checked it out, and holy fuck, was that a gig? You know what I mean?
Well, that sounds like an incredible lineup.
It was so fucking cool. And I do remember like really kind of like specifically like watching Decomp being like, okay, this is like definitely a crush band, but I'm getting like this like weird, like kind of like hardcore vibe to it and like kind of like this about it. And like at some point, like their bassist, like there is, I don't know what track it is, obviously, but there is like kind of like a breakdown, I would say, but like, you know, not like something like goopy or anything like that. But when like a particular riff got like really slow, their bassist was like doing this like fucking stomp thing. And I swear to God, I could feel it through the entire fucking venue, man. It was one of the best fucking like live performances I've seen in such a long time. Especially at like that time, you know, that was the first that I saw in like 2 years at least. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a little bit of a bias here. I know a couple of the guys, but that being said, just a fucking powerhouse of a fucking record. Would definitely recommend it, especially if you're into fucking riffs. That's one of the things I really was just fucking groovy. You know what I mean? And like I'm vacuuming and just kind of going like, oh fuck yeah. You know what I mean? As I'm hearing like these transitions and stuff. Oh, man.
Nice.
And it's recorded so well too. Like it's one of the better sounding punk albums of the last like 5 years. It just sounds fucking huge.
I don't know who did it. I would be willing to bet that Jack like had something to do with it. He's somewhere in there. I could be wrong, but that's just like my guess from a place of complete ignorance. I don't know. At least for like the mastering part of it and the mixing or whatever.
Well, you know, Kevin, you do have the record in front of you.
Yes, it might be written.
I could open it.
It might take some time to find.
Here we go. I'm trying my best to not look like an idiot
in front of the whole world, Kevin.
Wow.
No, it's fucking awesome. Like that was like a random just surfing through on Bandcamp thing for me, just like just hitting the like new punk and just like clicking through and just like listening to 20 seconds of each thing that popped up, and I heard that it's like, ooh.
Oh yeah, that's like
immediately
like how I like to think about it. So recorded by Adam at Red Lantern.
Okay.
Daniel Shaw did the cover art. That's really interesting. That dude. I don't know if he still lives in Houston or like one of the surrounding areas, but his art has always been fucking fantastic. He did the Versklaven LP. He did War Master's first LP.
Okay.
I'm gonna sound like a fucking moron here, but like the style of art where you do the dotting, you know what I mean? And you like kind of create like whatever you call that, like that's like his kind of thing. So yep, this is my third pick.
Nice.
They are still a band. I think they've had some lineup changes, but just absolutely fucking punishing. Yeah, he did do all the Insect Warfare stuff too.
There you go.
Nice.
Cheers, Vince.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't listened to that album in a while. I gotta pull that out now.
Which one, the Decomp one or the Insect Warfare one?
Oh, Decomp. No, I don't know if I own any Insect Warfare stuff. I don't think I do. Decomp. Let's focus on what you say.
Let's focus on Decomp.
Let's not spiral out.
Yes. Focus.
Is that what I'm doing?
No, you're...
All right. Round 4. It's my turn, right? We've talked quite a bit about Peel sessions. Everyone loves John Peel sessions.
Mhm.
Some of our favorite records from some of our favorite bands are like the Peel sessions. This one has become like one of my favorites in a very, very short amount of time because I only got it like a couple of weeks ago. And I like the band anyway, but like hearing some of these songs like in the Peel session format makes me love them even more. Even though like only 1/3 of this record is actually a John Peel session. The other 2/3 are like other BBC sessions, right? From BBC Radio 1, like in the 70s and 80s. 3-piece band, 3 girls, classic like pop music. What are you talking about? Came out last year on Sealed Records. This is like an unbelievably amazing record by the Dolly Mixture. Just like it doesn't get much better than this. Like music does not get much better than this. Like just like perfect, like infectious, lovable, fun, like pop music written by these women that were into like 60s pop and stuff, and just incredible. And like as I said, like getting like the Peel session treatment just makes these songs like even better. Just amazing. It's like perfect. It's a perfect record. Like 10 out of 10. Amazing vocal harmonies, girl pop. Beautiful.
That's pretty recent, right? That was
just came out last year, yeah.
Okay.
So they like Seal did like they reissued the LP like demonstration tapes. They also did this, and there's also like a singles collection too, which I haven't got yet. But
I didn't realize they did that many for them. Huh.
Nobody familiar with the Dolly Mixture?
They're another one of those bands where I know the name a lot. Like I've listened to a handful of songs.
This is why the show's here, right?
Yeah. No,
I guess maybe in the UK they were like more well known than they were in the States, probably. You've heard like Captain Sensible's "What," right? That's it. Yeah. You've heard that, right? They are the backup band. They do the vocal harmonies on that song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So if you can remember what those vocals sound like, that's what you get with the Dolly Mixture. Just great pop music, indie pop music.
Yeah, I can't remember offhand, but I think I've heard 1 or 2 songs, maybe. Probably from just like checking out whatever Sealed puts up on Bandcamp. But
yeah, it's amazing because like these were not available, well, only on like bad quality like YouTube files until like Sealed.
Oh, so they never got the full on like.
No, this is like
Strange Fruit or whatever.
No,
or
this
Dutch
is like
India, whatever it was that was doing all the Peel sessions.
That's right. Yeah.
They never got the 4-song 12-inch.
No. This is like the first time available, and it's great. Okay. I don't know how they did this, and it doesn't happen very often, but they got like John Peel's voice on it, introducing the songs, which is
that's rules.
So when I heard it, I got goosebumps when I heard that because like man, like being like a big John Peel fan, they got like his voice, on here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shit. He's been dead for almost 20 years now. He died like fall of 2004, right?
It's been a while, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still making John Peel systems, are they? No.
What's that?
I mean, they still do like BBC sessions. I think.
Yeah.
Try to open up the joke. It didn't work out. No big deal.
Yeah, I definitely need to check that out.
It's still out there. It's just come out. So it's the singles collection is like the one that's kind of hard to get. I don't know why.
Well, wasn't there? I think like one of the fucked up singles collections had like some Dolly Mixture covers on it.
You know what?
They do some covers.
I think it does. Yeah.
There was. I think that might be why I know the. I mean, that's definitely where I heard the name the first time. But yeah, need to definitely check that out.
From that band.
Yeah, I don't think they were like very well known like outside of England at the time. I think so. All right, that's my 4th pick. Classic. Yeah. All right. Okay, what we got?
All right. Coming in hot here with a with a surprise for 2023 for me. It started with a surprise that the band Tenement was going to be playing a anniversary show for Don Giovanni Records in Philadelphia. And then the surprise got bigger when it turned out they were going to do a tour around this 20th anniversary. And imagine the surprise when I found out that there was going to be yet another Tenement promo tape. I guess it's not a promo tape. It is a collection of songs recorded between 2015 and 2023. So some of them are more recent, and some of them are, I guess, older. I don't know if I mean, I don't know what that self-titled record come out maybe in 2015. Predatory Headlights was 2014 maybe. So
that was a little bit later. That was 2016 or 17, I think.
The self-titled,
like 7-song 12-inch.
Yeah.
That was a little bit later.
The latest, but or maybe not. Maybe whatever. I got the promo tape for that maybe in 2015 or 2016. The LP came out a year later. But regardless, I don't know if some of these songs were for a session from that. But as with all things Tenement for me, I love it through and through. They're one of my favorite bands. I'm obsessed with also a lot of their demo stuff, like demos for Napalm Dream, demos for Predatory Headlights that came out as like a 2-cassette collection. One of them with the album, the second one with all of the demos on it. That tape did not leave my old truck for like months. Like just, I don't know. I love that band. I love the people in it. The drumming is some of my favorite drumming in, like, I don't know, the realm of punk that crosses into like straight up just rock records. I was talking with Jeff Young about this the other day because I finally got him persuaded to listen to Predatory Headlights the other day, and he was like, "This is just a rock record," and it may be just a rock record played by punks, but I don't know. Their arrangements, their songwriting, lyrics, they hit it all. Huge fan. So, yes, all that to say, I was so very, very pleased to get a new tape from Tenement in 2023.
Nice.
Big thanks to my homie who picked up two and was kind enough to send me, or not send me, but sell me one of these at the show, because by the time I got to buy a tape and a shirt, the tapes were gone, and the shirt I got is like a Grimace purple and
Grimace purple? Not deep purple, Grimace purple.
Extra large, I think, which I'm not an extra large guy, but I was
it's an extra. Yeah, you're not an extra large.
But I wanted the Tenement shirt nonetheless, so I got it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess like the bass player lives in Sweden now. Yes.
Yeah, because it was the only thing I've been able to find so far in Japan was this Tenement Napalm Dream, right? Napalm Dream.
That one's great, and they only got better after that. And that was my favorite album of the year when that came out. And then they only just got better. Like I'm the same as Will. I'm obsessed with that band. I remember the first time I saw them was with you, Will. Remember that show at Ronnie's when the cop gave us the beer? and they played. Their van broke down outside of Milwaukee, and they just like rushed down like 2 hours later and only played I think 3 or 4 songs.
So rough.
Them and Chinese telephones.
Yeah. I forgot that they were on that gig, but yeah.
That was the first time I saw them, and it was like, oh fuck, this band, like you only see them play 4 songs. You're like, okay, instant favorite, and then just like look up everything.
Yeah, a handful of times I saw them play prior to this last tour, which like I will say on this last trip they had an additional guitar player. I forget the person's name, but they were in that band Vacation. They also sang some of the songs, which was a shift, but they were incredibly tight. Like it was the cleanest and best sounding I'd heard them play. I remember seeing them play in Chicago a couple times at like the Juicer, and I saw them in Richmond, and they like played like not double time, but like their songs were much faster and like ripped through it, less sloppy, and like like good punk energy, but not the same like polished sound of the records. But this one, that like seeing them play last year was
I am
like, y'all
super jealous you got to see them again. When I saw that the tour, the closest it was coming to Chicago was Cincinnati, I was so fucking angry. So I was like, oh, if they're playing in Wisconsin, I'll drive up, I'll go. Like, even if it's Appleton, you know, that's a little bit farther than Milwaukee. But yeah, when I saw the closest was Cincinnati, I was very upset. And then I saw the tape. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm never going to get that. And then, like, maybe a month ago, shout out to Sal in Long Island. It's like, hey, Bill, do you want this? I'm like, fuck yes, please. How much do I have to pay you? It's like, no, here, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's like, oh, thank you, Sal. Thank you so much. It's so fucking good. It's like,
yeah,
them, it's probably tossed off. Like, okay, we wrote these and recorded them, you know, whatever. But for everyone else, like, fuck, that's like, that would be another band's best song.
yes,
Like, that level. Did you ever see them when they were playing as a 6-piece?
Wow.
That was when they were touring with. There was another affiliated band, right? Dusk.
Yeah.
Did
So
they?
they had
tour?
they had the Hammond organ and they had the violins and like extra vocals going.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was incredible. It was there was one weekend, actually tying it into one of my picks. Thursday night, I saw the 6-piece Tenement, and then Saturday night, I saw Brian Wilson. So it was like the best of like, oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, I thank you, Will. That was going to be one of my picks. Yeah, I fucking love Tenement. Like, Predatory Headlights was my favorite album of the 2010s, without a doubt. It was. And then the demos, the double cassette with the demos came out like a year later. Rebought that, and there were extra songs that didn't make it to the full length, and it was just, oh, it was so good. Yeah, they're one of the only bands that, you know, they'll play the basement scene, and like they were on tour with like Coke Bust and like other like power violence bands, but then they would also tour with like Charles Bradley, and it would make sense. Like right before Charles Bradley died, they were on tour and they played Chicago at this place called Talia Hall. And it was just a huge place. Like, oh, fuck, I saw that band at the Albion House a couple times. Like, you know, all these basement things. Like, that's awesome. That's playing. And they're getting in like the New York Times and shit too.
That's wild that they toured with Charles Bradley.
With Charles Bradley. Yeah. And like they were the best. I love that band. They're so good. I was extremely happy to hear this tape and hear the new songs again, and I hope that they get back together a little bit and still kind of, because like Will said, the bassist lives in Scandinavia now, so
but that does seem to be the going rate with these tapes that they put out. Like, I think I have 3 now that I picked up seeing them play shows, and then within like a year or two, an LP of said songs come out. So I don't know if this will end up being something that is released independently, or I don't know, teaser for just a whole different project, or maybe this is what we get, and they're just like, here are some home dubbed tapes to enjoy. Remember one of the first promo tapes I got from them, they were literally just like, I don't know, it's like this best of John Philip Sousa is like the cassette tape, you know. But they were dubbing them at the venue, just like, yeah. I was like, I'd like a tape. They're like, give me 5 minutes, and they were like made to order promo tapes.
It's like those instant live on demand things they tried to do in the mid 2000s. Like, oh, we'll burn you the CD. Just wait like 2 hours after the show. Big deal.
We recorded your set tonight. We could sell you a CD of that recording for $20. Just give us 2 hours.
And you wait till I start selling the DVDs of this episode, man. The money's
$37 a pop.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, the Tenement promo is getting a lot of time in the tape player.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's so good.
Will, you have an alternative for your next pick, or?
I'll admit, Will was. I knew ahead of time. I had this at the ready, just because this was one of my picks.
Okay.
Initially. All right. But then I was like, so we broke the rules a little bit there.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Broke a very small rule there. But yeah, this was going to be one of mine. That's why I have so much to say.
Yeah, we really agree that. It would be nice to know, Bill.
Kevin, I swear to God, if you had the Tenement tape too.
I don't actually.
Oh
All right.
Thank you again,
Have you got
Sam.
a different pick? Are you gonna?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What is it?
So continuing on, so we're past the midpoint of the melody.
Okay.
This is the newest album
Oh,
that I've got in my picks. It just came out about 2 weeks ago.
nice.
It hits a couple pieces that we've already talked about. It's a Texas band
Oh,
from Denton on Dirtnap.
oh,
But it's not super melodic, but it's kind of buried in there. It is Breaker from ODX. It's the new kind of synth punk band from Mark Ryan from the Mind Spiders and Marked Men. It's him and one other guy. Sorry, the reflection isn't going there, but there's the cover art. This just came out like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
wow.
I saw an interview with Mark Ryan where he said that he basically just wanted to record stuff as he wrote it, like just immediate. So it's the harshest thing he's done, and it's the harshest thing that probably Dirtnap has put out. But it's not like power electronics or any shit like that. Like some power electronics dork will probably make fun of me for saying it's harsh. But
Yeah, right.
it's some drum machines. There's a couple different times where there's very obviously two different drum machine beats playing over each other at different paces. There's guitar involved, but it's just one guitar, and it's very buried under pedals, so it sounds like another synth. It's really good. It kind of continues on the electronic evolution of the Mind Spiders, where,
Okay.
like I was saying earlier, every time I saw the Mind Spiders, they had a different lineup, and it started as a 6-piece and then devolved down like, oh, now it's only 4, now it's 3. Now ODX is only 2 people. Even his vocals have a lot of heavy effects on it, so depending on what track you hear, you honestly probably couldn't tell it's Mark Ryan singing.
Right.
And if you are coming in expecting sing-alongs, you're not going to really get them. But if you listen to it, you can hear the melody still, because that guy can't write a song that isn't catchy. Like between all of his bands, they always have that melody in there. But this one, it's very buried. So it might take a couple listens to hear it. But yeah, this is only 2 weeks old. It came out at the end of January. They were saying it's only like a one-time pressing of 500. So I think the white vinyl is 200 copies. That's what I've got. So the whites, yeah, it's like 200 and then 300 on black. They say they're not going to repress it, but I don't think if you're into the Mind Spiders, then you'll like it. But if you're only into the Marked Men, it might be a little bit too much of a leap.
How much of a leap is it from like the Mind Spiders?
It makes sense from the last album. So like if you're real into the first and the second one, where it's still like mostly guitar driven, and what are the first one's self-titled, and then the second one, it's got the white cover with the kind of spiral on it. So that one, it's still mostly guitar driven. If you're mostly into the first 2 and kind of dropped off after that, then it's a much bigger leap.
Okay.
The last one, when they were just a trio, where they do the Growl Zone, like the Ice Bear cover, where it's much more electronic and much more Devo sounding. Like there's a couple of bits on here, like some of the drum machine patterns are definitely lifted straight from Devo, but it's like, oh no, it's Devo era, which I really like that album. But I think the only reason why I like it is because that's the first one I really heard.
Okay, yeah.
So it's got the so it's got that as a base level. Like I can see this, like, the kind of like news reports of like guys in leather dusters that are bald and goatees and like sunglasses at night. Like they would be into this band. I don't like it's like industrial adjacent, but not really. There's a little bit of Metal Urbane in it from the drum patterns. Saw people compare it to Suicide. It's very like there is guitar in it, but it doesn't sound like guitar.
Right.
Yeah, I am very into it. Like first night I got it, I listened to it 5 or 6 times in a row, and I was trying to read a book and didn't get very far in it just because I just kept listening to the record, kept listening to the music. It's very good. What's it?
How long are the songs? Are they like short or they're longer?
They're like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's still like, yeah, it's still 2-3 minute songs. It goes by in like 30-35 minutes. It's like 11 songs, maybe 10 or 11 songs. Let me count. 11 songs. Yeah. The other guy is Mika Y. I don't know who that is. I don't know if they're in other kind of Denton or other Texas bands, but yeah, especially for like shit that comes out on Dirtnap, it's definitely the most harsh sounding. A lot of very processed synths and guitars, and like it ends, the last song on it kind of has the kind of slow build of it where it feels like the kind of album closer that maybe the Mind Spiders would have done, but done kind of like sub one level of that. If that makes sense. It's great. Like if you're into the last two Mind Spiders LPs,
right,
this will grab you right away. It's definitely, if they would have stuck together, I could see this being that. It's just because it's not all the same people. It just kind of skips a couple levels, you know. Yeah, it's 2 weeks old, maybe. I don't know if other places have started to get copies of it. It's very new. I also really like the cover art because it's just a red. Shout out to Toby Keith there with the red solo cup there, and Will's pick falling down with just the blue.
What's the name of the band again? I forgot.
Yeah, ODX.
ODX.
Yeah, so the ODX Breaker.
Okay.
And I guess like I was looking to see if maybe they had another demo or a 7-inch or something, and there is a demo uploaded to YouTube under that name that's very obviously Mark Ryan singing under some channel that's not affiliated with anyone, just like some random YouTube upload channel. Wow. It has a Bandcamp link, but when you follow the Bandcamp link to try to get to that demo, it's gone. But it's not songs that are on this LP. So it's killing me. I really want those. Like I want to buy them, but it's different recordings. It's different songs. So it only exists on YouTube, and like the image on YouTube is like a baby crying or something. I don't know, some meme shit. But yeah, it's if you like anything that Mark Ryan's done, if you followed his kind of career as he gets more into the electronic stuff, this is the logical next step. It's just like maybe 2 steps past the end of the Mind Spiders.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as soon as when your first pick was Bad Sports, I'm like, ooh, well, I have a second pick as well.
There you go.
I just got to wait a little bit because of my preset
predetermined like trajectory of.
Yeah, you got to build up to it.
This is a Texas heavy show tonight.
It really is. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's a state. It's a state of mind, if you will, right, Kevin?
Yep.
Look at all the Houston
one guy. Another guy.
Yeah, that's
I was already told
ODX Breaker.
I needed to code everything Houston style. That it's probably the agreement you have to sign before you move out.
All right, nice. Right, Kevin, what's
anyway,
your?
You guys like Toby Heath, right?
Yeah, that was the best pick of the show so far, wasn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, for fans of Toby Heath, I got Cenk Holt.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Hey, man. There you go.
As my 4th pick here. Yeah, so Greek band that does not sound like Toby Heath. Maybe they should start taking some notes. There's a market for it now. You know, I mean, if they really want to break out, this is a good way to do it. Yeah. Who's doing Toby Heath now? You know, no one. He's dead.
The area is open.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyway, I really like that whole Gotham punks, like, you know, style music. I was in a band that did that for a while, called Gast. This was a band that I was not aware of before Bill told me to go see them when they came to Chicago. And I was just like, okay, you know, this sounds cool. And he was like, trust me, you'll like them. And I made a point being like, okay, I'm just not going to listen to them, like, at all. You know, I'm just going to go. We'll see what happens here. and totally blew me away. They're from Greece, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Great band.
And yeah, bought everything they had. This is a record that I've been listening to a lot lately. Since actually, like, I feel like what ends up happening is that I listen to like one or two things, and then this like sneaks in as like a breaker because it just like checks off everything I like in that like style of music. Like I like the catchy choruses. I like the almost like poppy riffs and stuff, but that like like extra like kind of like punk like undertone and inspiration is fucking something that like I really like. I wish I knew about them earlier. I really do. Yeah, no, like, seriously, it was this was like one of those bands who like just like I was mentioning in the pre-show. It just like checked off all the boxes I was looking for when I'm looking for something that like I want to like and listen to and buy it, So yeah, this I believe is their second LP, but I could be wrong.
Show it again.
Yeah.
Is that Shallow Grave?
Yes.
Okay. I have that one.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it is.
They had the demo, and then they pressed the demo to a 12-inch.
Yeah,
I think
that's
the problem. Like another LP, but they had another 12-inch. I want to say.
Had. I can tell you right now.
Consult the source.
No.
No. Going through it, but yeah. Anyway, I think this is the second LP. If it's not, then it's the first, and if that's not right, then it's the third. And if that's not
it correct, is on vinyl.
It's fifth
on a 12-inch.
Yeah.
Great band. Absolutely.
Yeah, they were incredible live. Like I remember they had a tour booked for like summer 2020, and then obviously COVID happened, and I didn't hear word about a reschedule, and then finally it just showed up, and it's like, oh fuck yeah, they're finally coming. And I talked to the guy who turned out to be their driver for a couple minutes at like the start of the show, and was just kind of bullshitting and talking with him, and he was extremely grateful about getting in because like I was saying to Kevin before that gig, I don't think I'd seen a band from Greece before. Like you don't hear them at like no. I can't remember seeing a band from Greece before that show.
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, not that I can recall either. Yeah, they were awesome that night. They were such a good band. I was very happy they finally made it over.
It was like one of those sets. It was a long set. I think like
it was a long set, but it was worth it. It was like they're good enough to play for the full 30.
But I know that you took a candid photo of myself enjoying it, asshole. But yeah, I enjoyed all 45 minutes, which is like something that's like kind of rare for me. You know what I mean? Like, I get bored, like I get thirsty, and I'm just like, all right, this is fine. Moving on. But this was definitely a set that I wish I could kind of go back to. So that's like why I picked it. It's like my more like recent releases, even though I'm guessing this probably came out about 2 years ago. So it's La Vida in yeah. Yeah. So it's popular. We know that.
Yeah. Great band.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were really good. They have a new place on the lapel of my leather jacket. Bought the enamel pin. They were good enough to replace some other stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that good.
Only for the best.
All right. Nice. That's great. It's a great band. Thank you. All right. Last round, man. You know what? I've been saving this one for last for a reason. It's a great record. It's a Chicago band, local band if you're in Chicago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there you go. It's a couple of years old now. New to me. Got it a couple of weeks ago. One of the members is in the comments. I'm a bit nervous. The singer's in the comments. I can see him. He was on the show last week, right? I got the record. It's great. but I don't know how to describe it. I'm being honest here. Like, I've listened to it a bunch of times. I've got some words that kind of came up. But
I want to see what you say first.
I don't know what I'm going to say. I have absolutely no idea, really. I haven't written any notes. All I know is I've been enjoying this record. I think it's an amazing record. I love this record. But I don't know how to describe it. So let's have a look at the record, right? Let's have a look and see what happens after I show the record. Here it is. Wrong War. There you go. Council Records, 2022. I talked about it before the show last week. I said to Matthias,
with Matthias.
This but before the show, I was like, maybe after the show, I was like, this like completely like jumped out of the speakers at me. It's like freaking huge, like sounding like hardcore punk record. It's like massive like production, which I like.
Did you almost pick it last week when he was on?
I didn't pick it last week when he was on purpose. But now he's here though now, so I might as well just have picked it last week. But I know. Does this sound like a Chicago? I've seen like some reviews saying, "Oh, the Chicago sound." And
I can hear a little bit of Articles of Faith in there. Like later, like not give thanks. The second one. That's the only LP of theirs I own, but I'm completely blanking.
Give thanks, yeah. That's the one that people have said it sounds like.
And then
I saw that.
Like definitely, like I described them to someone as kind of like a love letter to between like the early Revolution Summer Discord stuff. So like Government Issue, little bit of like that like kind of Joyride era Government Issue. Heard that in there. It's
kind of grown up, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Very like mature record, and like I know it's and on like the first couple of listens, I was like, oh, this is kind of like, I'm not going to say it's kind of simple, but actually when you listen to it a few more times, there's a lot of like depth to this record. There's a lot to discover on this record, which doesn't necessarily show itself on the first like few listens. Yeah. Very melodic, but also pretty aggressive.
Yeah. In This Life, that's the second Articles of Faith record.
Okay.
In This Life, that's the one. It took me 5 minutes there.
Yeah. Yeah, it does have that Midwest sound.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, big fan.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen, right? And I do this a lot every week, in fact, where I have records picked out and I don't know how to talk about them, so I don't. Right? That happens a lot every week. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I can't like do this record justice. I don't know how to describe this record. Yeah. And so I just like, another day, I'll do it another day. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show this one today, even though I haven't quite figured out how to describe it yet. I know that I like it, and I know I want to hear more from this band. And I think Matthias' vocals are really good. I know he's listening. I think he's very like nice, gruff, raspy like delivery on the vocals that I really like. And it's a great record. I don't know what to say about it. So
there's someone else in that band I think there was a really good garage rock band, like garage punk bands in the early 2000s called the Phenoms around Chicago that I saw a couple times when I was really young, when I was like 17, 18, 19, that just like blew my mind. They kind of filled the void that the New Bomb Turks had when the New Bomb Turks broke up. I think a couple of guys from the Phenoms were in that band too. So yeah, it's good pedigree in there. Yeah, the Phenoms, if you haven't heard them, Home Brain Surgery Kit is just a fucking monster of an album. Wrong War is great. I really like the stuff.
Yeah, Wrong War, Once Upon a Weapon, Council Records, John Yates artwork. I haven't seen that for a while. Like the artwork by John Yates, you know, he used to do a lot of the Alternative Tentacles stuff. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it kind of looked familiar when I saw it, and then when I looked it up, there you go. It's John Yates.
Nice.
Artwork.
It looks like cool art.
Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a painting. Great record, great band, and I need to check out like more by them and listen to this a bit more to be able to.
There's a lot. They're, for a relatively new band, they're very prolific. Was it one of the Bandcamp Fridays? I did the just kind of buy the discography deal, and there were like 7 releases in there, and I think they've only been a band for like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it's all good. It's all very good. I'm very big fan.
impressive.
Yeah, I was going to throw the word like mature around, and I was like, nah, that doesn't really. But it is. It's like it does have that like government later era like government issue, articles of faith, like a hardcore band that's kind of like spread out and like.
That's the type of shit too. When like people say like, oh, it's elevated horror. You're like, oh yeah. But it's mature hardcore, elevated horror. Like, but sometimes it does fit. You know?
Yeah. It was a tough one to talk about, but I love it. I love this record, and I'm definitely going to be playing it a lot more.
Yeah, glad you picked it. It's very good.
Yeah, it's great band. Thanks, Matthias. How did I do? Pretty badly, right? All right, Will, what's your last pick?
You can start playing mature hardcore when you turn 18 versus that
18
hardcore 16. You know,
yeah, right.
We all grow up. This is a funny one. That was kind of a last minute-ish thing. Like I said, I've been pulling from a very limited pile lately.
Right.
But for some reason, this was in this like bin of 10 inches and compilations that I had, and I thought, it's not a 10-inch, but it's a record that I've listened to, I don't know, countless times, and was excited to see it in there. I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, we gotta spin it. And it's slightly embarrassing because at least 2 people affiliated with it are seemingly in the chat, but it is Yamada's LP. I think this came out probably 2014 would be my guess.
2014, it fucking rules.
Yeah, it is. I think like fully underappreciated. I had to stop it.
Now's the time when the animals come out.
I think it's really underappreciated. Incredibly well written DB hardcore. Like it is Jeff, who played guitar in this band, is one of my favorite contemporary punk songwriters. He's incredibly talented. I love that on this record there is like a dirty guitar track, but there's also more prominently like a very like relatively clean sounding guitar track for a fucking like record of this nature. And I think it really sets it apart. Like also some there's some really like tasty like hair metal style solos, which checks out given who the person writing them is. But rather than the like more noodly, squealy, noisy solos that we're used to hearing on DB records, it's like smooth and like bends. And you can see the spandex in the big hair. Like it's fucking great. This dude, I think Chris Hilbert recorded it in Greensboro. Illustrious Star State Records released it, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
Yeah.
Were they originally from Augusta? Like, I know it was like one of the southern states, right?
They're from North Carolina. They were a Raleigh band for sure.
Raleigh, okay.
Yeah, and so Jeff and Usman have gone on to do Scarecrow now. I mean, Jeff's in a bunch of bands, but Usman and him do Bunker Punks. Like, I don't know, they got their fingers in a bunch. I think Usman has like some label doing represses of like exclusively like Finnish hardcore or something.
Wow.
I don't know. You should get Usman on the show, but
I want to,
yeah. But yeah, just like one of my. It's probably a cheesy thing to say. I won't say it. One of my favorite.
Say it, Will.
I promise. Whatever you do, I'm gonna like one up you on dumb. Coming up next, I promise. You can't.
It's a great record. The art's fucking awesome. Yeah, can't recommend enough. And just once again, like I feel like this somehow got. I don't know. I feel like it got slept on by a lot of people, and it shouldn't have been because it is an incredible fucking record.
I actually missed the name of the band. What's the name of the band again?
It's Schemata. Here, I'll show you in less.
Oh, there you go. No.
Yeah, sticker, but 100% give it a whirl.
Or the Canadian band. Fuck, this is gonna kill me. There's another like DB band, like coming from, I'm guessing Montreal, but maybe it wasn't Schemata. I'm pretty sure. Like I caught them in Houston on tour with what I thought was like a band from Canada, but I'm sure getting my things like confused or whatever. But
it's an interesting bark.
I don't think that was on my end.
Anyway, if I can find it, I'll like post in the chat or something like that. I won't just mark it out. But anyway, fucking great band.
Yeah, they were awesome live too. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. They have 2 other records out that are also very good, but this one in particular, like something about the production on it, just like absolutely does it for me. It's a great.
Daniel's saying like check out their like pop punk stuff.
Oh, well, Daniel, you just decided nice pick.
All right, beautiful. A lot of stuff I hadn't heard of tonight. That's a new one. That's a new one to me.
They made it to Chicago. I'm pretty sure they played Rancho Huevos, but I don't think I don't think I made it to that show. I remember hearing about it.
Was it Mlecko? I guess. Like, was that the band?
Who was it?
The band from Canada. I thought the Schemata was on tour with them, but I could be wrong.
It's possible. I know they did like a full U.S. tour in maybe 2015 or 2016.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely that record for sure.
Yeah, timeline with Mlecko would be about right there, I guess. So I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, I could totally be wrong here. I was blurry a lot during that time, so hey, like, don't fucking fact check me or whatever.
I think you're forgiven.
Thank you.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't be very soon here.
Wait until the replays come.
I got
All right, Bill, what's your last pick, Bill?
All right, so my last pick
noisy, right?
at the opposite end of the melody spectrum. There's another one. Came up earlier, and I was killing myself not mentioning it. It is another Not for the Weak record pick. It came out in 2020, I believe. So I need to get back into like songwriting mode. I need to get back into riff writing mode. And I've been listening to this a lot for inspiration. It is Lethal Means Zero Sum Game. It's 8 tracks, super thick, D-beat hardcore. I don't know where exactly they're from. They're from the general southeast, right? Will, do you know these guys?
Yep. They're Norfolk.
Norfolk. Okay. Yeah. So Norfolk, Virginia. It has one of the most amazing drum sounds on a punk record of the last 5-10 years. It just sounds like it's a modern update of the drum sound on sorry, I won't say the update, but the last time I remember paying this much attention to a drum sound was like GBH City Baby Attacked by Rats, where it just sounds like the drummer is hitting with a fucking baseball bat. It just sounds so huge. And I'm not a drummer. I know nothing about drums. I just know what sounds good. It's 8 tracks. It's like 20 minutes maybe. So all the songs are like 2 minutes a piece. There's one like 5-minute kind of end banger. The title track is the second song on it. It's kind of the mid-tempo one where it's like every time I listen to it, I need to just punch the air. And this TV back here the other day when I was listening to it, when I was doing some work and just leaning over on my phone, I did the punch and I almost hit the TV, which would have been bad. I'm in the middle of an empty room and I almost punched a fucking TV listening to this. I love it. It's so good. It's like, even just look at the cover. It's got the,
yeah, it's cool, man.
Cool ass Grim Reaper skull and Zero Sum Game. It's catchy as hell, but like, so it kind of goes against like, oh, this is the end of my melodic spectrum. But like, the songs will get stuck in your head. The riffs are really cool. They're sinister as hell, but they've got kind of catchy choruses. It's the comparison, I would say, most like, it's kind of like the Criminal Trap era Anti-Cymex, where it's a little bit longer songs, thicker guitars.
Wow.
It also reminds me. You remember that band Obliteration that put out like 2 or 3 7-inches in the late
CC in that band?
With who?
CC from like Magic Circle and tons of bands. There's a couple of bands called Obliteration.
No, there's like a metal band named Obliteration, like a black metal Obliteration. This is like the punk one.
They're a punk band too. Obliteration,
yeah. Because I know there's a couple bands with that Obliteration name. It reminds me of that. Like I know Obliteration put out 3 7-inches. If Obliteration would have done an LP, this is what I think it would sound like.
Nice.
It's got the Obliteration. It's a little bit like Cymax.
There you go. I thought so.
That cover also has a lot of skulls on it. Okay. Thank you, Daniel.
There you go.
It's just I like trying to get back into riff writing mode because I just need to write some riffs because we need to record some shit.
And buddy.
The time has come. It's been a year. So I've been listening to this a lot to try to like. The only problem, these songs are like 2 minutes long instead of 1 minute, and I don't know how to write D-beat songs that are more than a minute and a half. So I need to stretch myself like these guys. But yeah, I love this album. It came out end of 2020, I think. It's gone through a couple pressings. This is one of the color variants, I think. Yeah, so it's red. Fun side note, Kevin and Will, one of my Discogs feuds was over some uploads of pictures of this album. When I was in the shadow band from Discogs from fucking Don Jorge. Fuck you, Don Jorge.
Don Jorge, fucking asshole.
Like fucking Discogs nerds are the fucking worst.
What
but yet I go on it all the time, and I try to upload shit. But yeah, I love that album. It's one of the better. Like, it's not a heavy, hardcore or heavy D-beat, but it's recorded as if it was kind of, the recording of it, like what Will was saying. That I assume it's probably recorded by the in-house, not for the weak people, and it just sounds huge. I love it. That was that was one of my alternate ones because Mike, you picked the Riesgo one. That was one of my original picks, and then I saw
that was a weird record, right? That totally nobody in Chicago knew about.
No one knew.
No one knew.
I was so excited. I'm like, oh, no one's ever gonna pick this record, and then you in Japan had it 20 weeks ago. Lethal Means was a semi last minute pick, but also at the same time, like I've been legitimately listening to it like crazy. It's so good. If you haven't heard it, they have that, and they have a 7-inch too. That's also like just as good. But I prefer the LP.
All right.
Heavy recommendation. I am very into it. Yeah, that's last 2 in a row when you guys picked other Denton stuff and other not for the weak stuff. I'm like, trying not to say anything. But get it?
There you
go.
And
hopefully the journey from the Beach Boys to Lethal Means.
It's a great journey.
Glad I could be with you on this adventure.
Me too.
I'm happy you're here too, Will. It's good to see you.
All right, let's finish up this journey. Kevin's last pick.
Can we do a bad record?
Another one? No, just kidding.
Always. Always.
Sure, if you want to.
Let's like.
Up to you. The ball's in your court.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one that I've had just in my back pocket for a really long time. This is not a good record. It should never have become a thing ever, and I hope that people think it's fucking funny. This is a band called Human Investment.
Oh, controversial. People love that record.
Yeah. For the uninitiated, this is Dave Trumba from Ostrotten and Behind Me Lines doing a pop punk anarcho band with Andy from Anti-Flag.
I'd forgotten he was in the band. I'd forgotten about that.
I really like this record so much because, first off, they made this beautiful decision to cut the insert into 2 instead of making it one piece of paper.
Sounds annoying as hell.
ecologically like more sound.
Do you have to line it up to like see the full lyrics, or does it work as two separate pieces?
So let's find out. Let's go ahead and do it. Yeah, so I think you have to kind of do this to make it work. Anyway, it's a funny record. I heard it like while I was like driving around on tour with a friend of mine who sadly passed away, but he was just like, yeah, this is like the dumbest thing that I think I've ever heard. And he put it on, and it was like the type of music that I am not a fan of, but like the bass like tracks, the original songs on it are like kind of sick. They're really like heavy, and it's a very bass forward record. What's odd about it is that I think that they were able to get like about 4 or 5 tracks together, and then they just started covering Osrotten again. really, really, really bad Osrotten covers, and then pressed it for reasons that I don't think that we'll ever know. But this is the record that I like to think of as being everybody's gonna have the bad one, right? You gotta have the one that, like, you know, I don't know why I have it, but I swear to God, you'll have to pry this out of my like. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Primus fucking rules. But yeah, I mean, like, seriously, this is it's a funny record, and like, honestly, if we want to blame anybody, Daniel, you were the one that like this was already in the back of my head, and then as soon as you were like, "Oh, check out their pop punk stuff," I was like, "Oh, I got a band that had some pop punk stuff." So this is one of those. So
it was an audible pick.
Absolutely. It was between this, the Sodom record, or the Warrior Tribe 7-inch, which I didn't do. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I don't mind. I think I probably still have that record. I haven't listened to it like in many, many, many years. I can't recall what it sounds like, but I think isn't that kind of considered like a classic, or I don't know. It's like a crust classic, you know. I don't know.
I don't know if it's a crust classic. I mean, it was in that realm, and I remember when I bought this. There was a couple in Houston that were like very much a part of that like type of scene, you know, like vegan, like, you know, anarcho like crust or whatever. And then they were just like, well, we're gonna have this like crazy like this distro like sale of everything because they needed to pay rent. And as soon as I saw this, I just like found their number through a friend of mine, and I was like, I'm coming over right now.
Is that Profane Existence? Is that a Profane Existence thing?
I'm sorry?
Is that on Profane Existence?
Oh, good question. This one is
kind of label, right?
Rotten Propaganda.
All right.
Also from Pittsburgh.
Oh, there you go.
So, you know, I guess makes sense.
But
yeah,
it's like Dave from House Rotten, the guy from Anti-Flag. Who else is in that band?
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Line up the insert.
Because people have been on the show.
Don't worry. It comes apart. So we have Dave Trenga, Andy Wright on bass, Tim Williams on drums, and Dan Goldberg. I'm not familiar with these guys, unfortunately.
No, I mean,
I don't recognize the last two names.
No, I thought I was thinking that like maybe like Bill had been in that band, not you, like Bill Chamberlain or like some of those. Like,
no, I feel
I promise I was not in any punk bands in the '90s in Pittsburgh.
You weren't even born.
I was born. Come on, Mike. I'm not that young. I'm in my late 30s, Mike. I like that you say young is late 30s.
Young's late 30s, yeah. All right.
It's one of those weird ones. I have an odd connection to with it, but it is a weird record.
I'm gonna have to go listen to it again. It's been a while. It's been a while since I played that record.
Yeah, I think like choice tracks out of it would have been not the Osrotten covers.
There you go.
That's impressive that those would get recorded. Well,
Very.
that came out while Lost Rotten was still a going concern, wasn't it?
I think this was right after all.
It's after, right? After.
Okay.
Yeah, just like immediately after. Yeah, so there's media blackout. I mean, like, for what it's worth, I think it's cool for like the attempt. I'm surprised that they got somebody to put it out. And I'm glad that I own this a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of those that I'm going to hold on to forever.
And on that bombshell. All right, that's a great episode. It's a long one too. Not the longest, almost the longest. It's up there. It's up there. Top 3.
Shit.
Top 3 length.
Did we beat Jeff, Sarah, and Ebro?
Maybe.
No,
We'll find out. Maybe. We might have. It's a good one. All right. Let me just announce next week's show. It's next Friday, February 16th. Todd Hoffman, Matt Miner, Dennis Barentz, all familiar names to everybody watching. Great guys. It's going to be a great episode next Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everyone in the chat. It was a good chat today. Lots of fun. Paul, how you doing, Paul? Paul's coming on soon. He hasn't been on for a while. It's going to be good to have him back.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to shout out to Dave's cat, Turbo.
Turbo.
Oh, yeah.
Turbo. Forgot about that.
The poll. I'm sorry. I can't read. So I can't answer that question.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Let's have a drink. Until next time. Cheers.
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 Until next time, stay healthy, write some riffs, and stay clean.